Hello, YouTube. A reasonable question I've been getting is, how do you move like that using these types of melee mechanics that I've been showing in my videos with all my build guides? This includes preventing things like slide blind with Exalted Blade, and I think the best way to demonstrate this is with a mission like an Archon Hunt, which has a good variety of different mobility systems and variety of environments to be able to show a lot of these mechanics. What I'll do first is show the 4 minute run unstopped, and then we'll go back through it, and I'll start and stop as needed to discuss what's going on, what keybinds I'm pressing at that moment, what I'm doing in particular. So
To rebuild paradise, Fazul's Narmer will destroy all they consider makers. Archon Naira will be at the forefront of the slaughter. Stay on the move. Those eyes can kill. Deacon veils are holy regalia in Fazul's eyes. They will open this gate, even if their bearer is dead. Naira devoured her brothers. I will not stand idly aside while she and Fazul devour mine. Be my sword, Tenno. Strike. Dealt with Archon Naira expertly, Tenno. Her kind may expect no mercy, no protection.
Here shown, I was able to do that in 4 minutes flat, which is, I think, pretty decent. It's a pretty fast run, considering for Excalibur. I'm not sure how fast a Titania can do it, but I would make the argument it's pretty fast. I show my build here real quick, which is the same build that you've seen before with my V4 video. The only thing I'm using differently here is I'm using Kota Haradu just as something that I'm testing to as a pretty powerful backup. So whenever you, let's say, run into an acolyte and that acolyte decasts your Exalted Blade, well, how are you going to survive for that? So I'm using Haradu right now with it's a Rivenless build. Thing to note here too is with Archon hunts, the fact that we're going against Archons with radiation is pretty powerful. Whether or not another build will perform that well is under question. We'll see. Like an electric only, I don't think it would perform as well, since from what I remember, Archons take more damage from radiation. Alright, so then we'll go through this again, and I'll start and stop as needed to sort of demonstrate some of the mechanics. The most important one that you'll see a lot of is bullet jump into aim glide, and then using left mouse button, so the melee override keybind, in order to be able to use left mouse button as your or as your melee button. So like right here, the goal here is to get as much energy as possible because this uses universal fallout. You want to get as much energy so you can slash dash, Wrathful Advance, and not have Exalted Blade decast. So it's an important thing. If you see a group of enemies, stop, kill them, and then carry on. So right here, there's two ways of doing this. So you can either just straight up slash dash into a slam, or you can and then roll from that slam, or I guess you could slash dash again and do it. I sort of do half of both here and don't really get the result that I was looking for, which is you don't want to have the land recovery requirement of slam, or just of hitting the ground. So you notice a lot of rolling. Here's where I don't do this as best as I can, which is if you go straight up and then do a 180, then you can slash dash back, but then I actually hit a little surface there. So uncaffeinated me doing this video, first take. So the Archon obviously dies pretty quickly. It's a powerful build, and it's playing solo, so reasonably capable. I get a specifically the buff for Nariman right here because I'm not at full combo. So that's sort of the objective here is you're going to want to, if you're playing something like Unaru, you're going to want to do that every once in a while to get your 40-second buff to prevent knockdown or to get your knockdown immunity. So slash dashing whenever necessary. Slash dash into a roll, it sort of breaks that recovery time. Double slash dash there to be able to close distance. That's where I'm able to close that gap. That's where it takes some time to get that level of precision. The thing that I'll mention now that comes up a bunch is when you have momentum, and let's say you're using slash dash to turn 90 degrees, you have to drag it. You have to sort of overshoot, so increase the angle that you're trying to turn because of that forward momentum that you have. It's a very powerful thing in slash dash. If you don't do that, then you won't turn 90 degrees. Let's say you have to go to like 110, 100 and yeah, anywhere from maybe like 105 to 115 degrees usually, depending on your forward momentum, and that can be variable as well. So a lot of rolling. Rolling's very powerful on this. It also it's an important way for you to not get to the point where if you're aim gliding, you're technically crouched, especially if you're using a toggle-based keybind like I do. And if you're using toggle-based keybind, rolling so that it sort of breaks that crouch or that slide so that you're not having to slide blind. And preventing slide blind is huge for your energy economy and for your overall speed and mobility. So here's something that'll come up that is one of the great reasons why Wrathful Advance just increases your overall mobility in this configuration. So there's very few scenarios where you can just break any sort of momentum and then just straight teleport, and it's very situational if you're using it as mobility, and it takes a lot of time to get to figure out, oh, what's the best scenario for this. So right here is probably one of the best, where, yep, I just teleport a good 20 meters in front of me, and I'm right at the target. So instead of slash dashing, potentially overshooting, you just sort of put yourself exactly where you want. And as usual, do a 180 bullet jump, and then slash dash actually through this nullifier, and so we don't have Exalted Blade decasted, which is nice. It's nice and convenient. And as you notice, a lot of rolling. And so this is one of the hard parts. So when you roll, depending on where your cursor or where your camera is positioned, like so what direction you're looking, you can actually side roll or sort of pseudo side roll so that if you needed to change, like right here, if I would have rolled just straight forward, I would have hit the wall. So you want to do like sort of this 90-degree turn while you're rolling, and it allows you to change your momentum quite easily. Here, I'm just trying to get more energy, because I'm watching my energy economy the whole time. I don't want Exalted Blade to decast by slash dashing too much. Same thing here. I would have slash dashed or Wrathful Advance, but my energy economy's low. Same with right there. Could have slash dash. But energy economy right here, it's relatively low. The thing to note, and I'll go back a little bit to show this. So this is where attack speed, and if let's say I had a Volt or a Wisp in my group, I might find myself slide blinding a lot more, because you have to get used to the cadence of a given stance. And on Exalted Blade, it's a very simple stance, but the objective is to not slide blind, since that's a huge energy drain, especially if you're using Blind Rage. It's very impactful to your overall energy economy. So here is probably a good demonstration of just aim gliding, attacking while aim gliding, and then using a slide, or let's say sliding into a bullet jump, but you're stopping your attacks. Like, you're not just hold left mouse button here, because if you did, you would like right before that, or in this case right there where I Wrathful Advance in order to break that and then get back down to a standard melee gameplay. So like right there, I roll in order to break that momentum. A lot of it's a lot of bullet jump, aim glide, and rolling, uh, with melee mechanics sort of squeezed in between it as an overall generalization to it. Right here, I'm hoping, let's get some energy. Oh, look at that. Good amount of energy from that. So this right here is a very interesting thing, and I haven't been able to reliably replicate this. I think the timing for this is so insane that sometimes it depends on the latency, and because I'm the host here, there's no, it's a solo mission. It makes it a little bit easier, but right here where I just get this insane momentum. So I'll replay that, because this is very difficult. I haven't figured out precisely how to be able to repeat this, but I happened to do it during this while I was recording this. So right there, and what more than likely happens, and it's these are some things I've had to deconstruct over time, having to explain it to people, is I left mouse button to break slash dash before it connects with the target, so then I keep that momentum. Now, can you repeat it? Can you reliably do that? I can't even do that. But in this scenario, I do it. It's an extremely powerful thing, because you notice instead of just going the 20 some meters, I'm going like 40 meters with that full momentum, and I just swing right to it. It happens every once in a while, but it's not something that I expect to be able to do repeatedly. It's, yeah. I think for you to get the timing right, your target has to be at almost max range for you to be able to reliably break slash dash before it connects with them at just the right moment. And here's a great example of that. Just easy, sort of no energy way to increase your mobility. So you get have a height advantage here. So you do a slam, and that's just, it's not a heavy slam. It's just a regular. You're pointing low enough at the ground for you to land a slam. But you don't want to have the recovery from the slam, so then you just roll before it actually connects with the ground. Now, you can time it perfectly. If you time it perfectly, you can slam, still get the damage from that, but then roll and then break the recovery. But I didn't demonstrate it there just because there wasn't an enemy. Another example of just using slash dash to close some distance, watching my energy economy the whole time, thinking, okay, here's a bunch of enemies, I'll grab some energy for it, and boom, there's another 100 energy. Here I'm watching my health, noticing I don't have full health. I try to use a Magus Repair or my Arcane in order to heal with Operator. Doesn't work there, but that was the attempt and goal there. Archon's pretty easy with this build. No issues. Demonstration of the versatility of this build. I don't put anything special on for Archons. I'm able to kill them just fine. So here you've already seen this in the full gameplay, but this is a common problem with using Exalted or Slash Dash as a connector or just as mobility skill. If you happen to have something in front of you, it can kind of do some weird stuff. So like right here, it goes to target. So I hit the railing, which is not the objective. So this railing right here I hit. But then it's targeting either this enemy or this enemy. Which one? I don't know. But this happens occasionally. Sometimes you have to defer when you're going to slash dash until you are able to point it away from a target. That takes a lot of timing. It's timing I'm not even perfect at, but then in this case, they were sort of blind in front of me. I knew they were there. I figured I would hit them, but the recovery from that is important because it happens all the time. So like right here, I was able to just slash dash again and recover. And here this is stuff that when you're dragging, you don't hit this. So I think here I was just not paying enough attention. So like right here, I overshoot a little bit. I had less momentum. I had less momentum than I believed I had. So then I over dragged, and then I didn't point towards here properly. But if you were to be doing this, you'd probably be having to point here, not here, because you had a little. I had a little bit of momentum here. I just overshot it. But recovery is important. Same thing happened there too. And here's a great example. So where you're deferring your double jump and you're pointing it above. So if I pointed it lower, I would have connected and hit this target. So the cone of what you're able to hit is relatively large because it'll drag you. Even if you have all the auto aiming features disabled, it'll still drag you. So this is a great example of aiming high enough to where I'm not going to hit the thing up here, and then I'm not going to tag the enemy here, and then maintaining that momentum with a roll. That's standard practice there. I've done that probably 2 dozen times throughout the rest of this video. Like I said, I don't know what a Titania would, how fast a Titania could do this to it. I imagine they can probably do less than 4 minutes, but I think 4 minutes is pretty good. I think that's a good demonstration of how fast this build can be overall, without it being insanely precise. Like I made a bunch of mistakes there, and it was still able to be done in 4 minutes. So, and I won't go over the build again, but it's the same V4 build. Uh, I might have a full companion guide. I've made some changes to my companion guide since I made my previous video. There's some extra tech you might have seen, like some armor stripping that was occurring. There's some extra tech that I was able to squeeze into the build that I've noticed is pretty useful. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and I'll answer questions as needed. If there's anything that you believe I didn't cover properly, I can always make a follow up on specific mechanics. Uh, on with sliding and preventing slide blind, I'd say maybe one hole in that demonstration is the timing for that. It's something you have to get used to. It's something you really have to. So I'm using Arcane Fury in this setup, or Primed Fury. I mean, so I'm getting 55% increase. If you're using something like Quickening, then the timing will be a little bit easier, so you won't have to worry about breaking your forward momentum or breaking your slide before you start attacking again. So it's some of that timing you have to get down. it might look easy with the way I demonstrate it, but just keep in mind I've been literally playing this way for it's pretty much since they added these mechanics, so several years, if not close to a decade. I forget. It's been so long since they added since they removed stamina and added bullet jumping and all that, but and stances and such. But it's been that long since I've been practicing these sorts of things and getting really good at it. So thanks for watching.